I made a bet to change my life. It destroyed us all. We were 5 friends, stuck in a loop of the same routines, same faces, same disappointments. We met every Friday night like clockwork. At first, just to catch up, then to forget. Then, because no one else cared enough to check. Somewhere between beers and cheap laughs, someone threw out the idea. "Let's make a bet," Mark said, his voice slurring slightly but eyes sharp. "For 1 month, each of us picks one thing to change, something that scares us. We have to stick to it. No backing out." The room went silent. It was the kind of stupid challenge we'd laugh at the next morning, but something about that night felt different. Maybe it was the exhaustion, or the weight of being stuck, or just the stubborn need to prove we weren't done yet. I was the first to agree. "Fine, I'll quit smoking." Sarah scoffed. "Easy, I'll finally tell my boss what I think." James looked away but muttered, "I'm going to ask her out." Mark's grin widened. "I'm going to move out of my parents' basement." Lily just smiled, quiet as always. "I'm going to stop pretending I'm okay." We shook hands, sealed the deal. The first week was almost hilarious. I wasn't coughing up black lung every morning, and Sarah kept firing back at her boss with a fire I hadn't seen before. James was jittery but hopeful. Mark was packing boxes with nervous energy. Lily, though, she was a mystery. She vanished one night, no explanation, no text. By the second week, the bet started to fracture us. I found myself standing outside the convenience store, hands shaking, desperately craving a cigarette. I hated how weak I felt. Sarah had already gotten reprimanded for being unprofessional, but she didn't care. James texted less and less, and when we finally saw Mark, he looked like he hadn't slept in days. Lily came back looking paler than before, eyes sunken. She told me she'd been seeing a therapist. "I didn't know how to stop pretending," she said softly. "But maybe this is the start." One night, the 4 of us gathered at Mark's new apartment. It was smaller than the basement he'd left, but he was proud. We drank cheap whiskey and tried to laugh about how pathetic we were. Then Mark's phone buzzed. A message. From Lily. "I can't do this anymore." We stared at the screen, heavy silence. No one knew what to say. The next day, Lily didn't show up. Her phone was off. 2 days later, her apartment was found empty. No note, no clues. The police assumed she left voluntarily, but we knew better. She was drowning, and the bet wasn't just about change. It was a spotlight on how broken we all were. The last week was the worst. James finally texted, "I need to talk." We met at the park. He confessed he'd asked her out, but she rejected him. Hard. More than that, he said he'd been spiraling, that he was drinking alone, that the bet was crushing him. I looked at my own hands, trembling not just from nicotine withdrawal, but from fear. What had we gotten ourselves into? The bet wasn't just a challenge anymore. It was a mirror. On the last night, we gathered again. This time, only 4. Lily was gone. The rest of us were broken, exposed. Mark lit a cigarette. We all flinched. "I lost," he said, voice rough. "We all lost." I nodded, finally giving in. I lit up too. We weren't the same people who made that stupid bet a month ago. We were scarred, haunted, and forever changed. Because sometimes, the things you try to fix only reveal how deep the damage really goes.